Okay, so in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to fix a little issue that is present inside of CrazyTalk Animator 2. And this is an issue that I've been told that it's actually being worked on right now. So there's a good chance that by the time you see this video, if you're looking at it, maybe a month from the time I created it, that this issue might have actually been resolved and this entire tutorial is irrelevant. But for the time being, there's this little issue here when, animators are very lazy. And we try to take shortcuts whenever we can. And one of the shortcuts that that we take, especially me, I don't like having to create twice the amount of work. So rather than creating an I symbol with 11, 12, 13 different nested I symbol expressions inside of it, I just want to do one, and I duplicate it, flip it, and therefore I have two. Okay, it's as easy as that. So basically it saves me 50% of the work. So the problem, however, is that whenever you duplicate a symbol, for some reason CrazyTalk doesn't really like certain sprites being flipped, and it will not read them properly. As you can see, this is the flipped version of that eye. That pupil is there. The problem is that, oops, let's see here. The problem is that when CrazyTalk imports it, that mirrored image does not get imported properly. There's no pupil in that eye. So nothing that you do is going to fix that within CrazyTalk. We have to take care of it manually, but I've created a little bit of a compensation thing for it. And basically the fix for this is very easy. You're going to go to Puppet Producer, launch it. Make sure you are inside of the flipped image, alright? And all you have to do is click on the export button, alright? So we're going to put our little head or playhead on the first frame. We've got to make sure we're inside of the flipped image. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to hit that export button. Boom. So now it says, what do you want to export? Well, we want to export these selected frames, and we want to compensate for the horizontal flip. So we're going to go ahead and make sure we put a check on that. And the reason that there has to be this compensation thing is because Flash also. So I mean, the issue is not so much with CrazyTalk itself. Flash does export SWFs flipped in a really weird manner. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that CTA would have to do in order to get that fixed. So it's, I mean, I don't really blame CTA so much for having that little bit of an issue, and it's really not that bad. So let's go ahead and click OK. Actually, we didn't select any frames. We got to make sure we select every frame that we want to export. So now that every frame is selected, let's click the export button. We want to export the selected frames. Click the compensate for the horizontal flip option and click OK. You're going to be asked for a place to save your sprites. I'm just going to create a new folder here called Eyes. Select the folder and give it a few seconds. Notice how it's actually flipping it over and doing all this crazy stuff for me automatically. Alright, so now that it's done, we're going to minimize this, and let's see here. Eyes. So all the eyes are here, and they've been automatically labeled based on the frame that they were located in. So it's frame 1 through 13. And let's see here. Let's select, double click on this sprite and click the sprite editor. Give it a few seconds to load. Now the drag and drop option, it doesn't always work, so I'm going to try that first, but if it doesn't work, then use the import button to import and replace your sprites. So I'm going to try the drag and drop option first, because a lot of times it just simply does work. So there we go. Click OK. Easy enough. Now let's do number 4. Let's do number 5. Don't worry about those errors. That's just random ActionScript stuff that it's really not very relevant to what's going on, but There's obviously no action script being done inside of this software. There's number 12. Number 12 seems to have been imported properly. I'm going to go ahead and replace it just to make sure. And number 13. Now the only thing that I need to do now is just kind of adjust the size a little bit. It's really not that bad. Okay, so that takes care of that. So at this point we're going to do a little bit of a time lapse. The process is exactly the same as I just demonstrated, but it is about 5 minutes worth of work. So for the sake of keeping the tutorial as short as possible, I'm basically going to speed it up, but I don't want to just cut and you know, all of a sudden have a completely fixed character. I mean, I want you guys to actually see that, you know, I'm actually going through all these different steps, changing the angle, selecting the sprite, doing the drag and drop replacement. It's really not that bad. In reality, this entire segment that's being time-lapsed was only about 5 minutes long. Just be sure to go through all the different angles, adjust the scale. Some of these angles that you might not even get to see it, so you don't even have to fix it, because in most cases it's going to be either behind the head or behind the other eye or whatever. Alright, so we're going to resume back to regular speed at this point, and we'll go on from there. So I know that some of these issues can be a little bit frustrating at times, and feels like the software should be able to account for this kind of stuff. And I have been told that, you know, they are working on streamlining some of this and making sure that this type of stuff doesn't happen. But you know, at the end of the day, this is a really good product, and it's a first of its kind type of product. So little glitches like this, they're not that bad to deal with, you know, especially if you're trying to do something custom, and you know, it's worth the extra little bit of effort. And with Puppet Producer, you know, just export that entire thing, account for the horizontal flipping, and just do the sprite replacement method, and you know, you should be able to get some pretty good stuff going. Let's give this a quick test. Let's see, facial animation. So the eyes are working fine. Blinks are good. Alright, so that seems to be okay. Let's try a different angle. One of the angles that we know was messed up. So let's try that now. And it works. All right.